My name is Eric David Munoz. I'm an artist. Most people know me by Gambit. This is my story. About maybe 11 years ago or so, a little more, I was fresh out of 11 years ago, I was in a relationship for about 7 years. Got out of that relationship. It was more like 12 or 13 years now, but fresh out of a 7-year relationship, I got really lost in a dark place full of alcoholism, drugs, depression. Got so dark at one point, I had gone full-blown atheist. About 5 years later, I got in a relationship, got married, and about 5 years after that, I started spiraling viciously after a divorce, contemplating suicide, drinking heavily every day, doing drugs, and just having these really dark, twisted thoughts in my brain that every day I was fighting with, and every day it was a constant battle of trying to get through these things and getting these thoughts out of my head. After about 3 or 4 months, I think it just all caught up to me. I was done being just sad, and I was tired of being depressed every day. So I looked myself in the mirror and I told myself, this is either going to be the beginning, or this is either going to be the end of your story, or it's going to be the beginning of your comeback story. Like the whole part in the movie where the main character's got to choose, and this was my choice. I looked at myself in the mirror and I decided to stop feeling sorry for myself, and I had to take initiative, and I started working out every day. So after like a year working out like every day, working out, going hard in the gym, eating right, changing my whole life around, trying to look in a different direction, not look back at my mistakes and using them as lessons. I still had this empty space in my heart, and I was like, seemed like obviously this whole time I'm working out, I'm trying to fill this empty space in my heart that I had from the depression, losing my relationship and all that stuff. And little by little, it's like I started getting these little signs and these little like yearnings to people would post Bible scriptures and that, like stuff like that. And it would I just get these little signs to start going back to church. Then it was me, I think, realizing that no matter what you go through, what, your physical, you got to work on. You could get all the gains, but you need those godly gains. You need that good spiritual fitness and spiritual health. My physical health was good. My mental health was getting back, and I needed that spiritual health that I was really missing in my life. My cousin Mo started reaching out to me, and God was using Mo to kind of get me to come back to church and lift my level of spirituality to that next step. I think it was finally on Palm Sunday when he finally convinced me. I'd been going back and forth, yeah, I'll go. But I was, something was holding me back. Finally on Palm Sunday, I'll go. And Mo gets me to go, and I pretty much haven't stopped coming to church since. It's been the most fulfilling thing. And I haven't felt this full, my heart hadn't felt that full in a long time than the first time I went back to the altar and I prayed and I asked him for forgiveness and really talked to God and was like, yo, I'm sorry, bro. Big G, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I messed up. I'm sorry. And it was he was almost flexing on me. He'd answer these little prayers for me. He'd answer these little create these little micro miracles that are I'm deliberately asking him, because I'm still having these battle, like questioning him. And like, he's like making these micro miracles happen around my life just to prove, just almost like to flex on me, like, yeah, I got you, you know? And little by little, you know, my heart became more and more full. And now I finally started to feel that emptiness that I had when I was going to the gym. And I still go, obviously I'm going every day, but that emptiness that I had, that I was trying to fill every day, now it's like getting full. And now my cup's half full, you know? And every week, not only do I learn about God, but I'm learning more about myself as a man of God and a God-fearing man of who I really am. It's definitely something that I was ignoring, and I'm glad that I finally started paying attention to all the signs, paying attention to my cousin, trying to, you know, God was working hard through Mo to get to me. And, you know, like it was like a battle with the devil and God won, you know? And I'm not saying I'm perfect because, you know, I feel great, but I feel amazing. Like you know, I'm not saying my life's perfect. I'm not saying that, you know, everything's all fine and dandy, because I still have good days, I have bad days, but now I have God. Like, I know everything's gonna be all right. I know I'm gonna wake up and just be grateful that I'm here, grateful for the blessings, and I know that the blessings will be abundant because I just in my heart, like I know this, and He makes me feel like it's good, you know. And really, like the lows, I appreciate the highs more now because of the lows, you know. And you know, he's the GOAT. Jesus is the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. He's the GOAT. He's answered all my prayers. He's put me in a position where I'm at, and really helped me get through the darkest part of my life, you know. And it's crazy because when I looked at myself in the mirror, I told myself, I said, yo, like, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's your superhero. Nobody's going to come be your superhero. No one's coming to save you, you know? In my deepest and darkest, nobody came to save me. Nobody came to help me. I had to help myself, but that's not really true, because it was God that saved me. Like, God was my superhero. He was there. He was really the one pushing me. He's the one said, hey, this gym is I'm putting this feeling in you to stop feeling sorry for yourself, to go love yourself, go to the gym, love yourself, work on yourself, you know, work on your fitness, make yourself a better man. He always had my back like a weight belt, and you know, for that, I'm forever grateful. You know, he really saved me in my darkest times, and I didn't even know. I didn't even, it took me going through this whole journey for me to even realize, oh, that was God and it was Jesus the whole time. And I have to give thanks to my cousin, Mo, for being so diligent and really patient with me. His testimony really inspired me. Crystal, his lady, really inspired me. Beautiful testimony. My cousin Mimi, always praying for me, always here every Sunday, happy to see me here. She was like, you know, all my cousins, very grateful and very, you know, excited to see me get baptized. It was a beautiful moment. I'm very blessed, very, very blessed, very highly favored, and it's because of him. God is good, and God is great all the time. And God's not finished. Never. He's always working.
So did you grow up in church originally?
Kind of, not really. Like, I would have spurts where maybe we go to church for a few months and we stop going, and just never like a big deal for me. So when I went atheist, it was really my resentment for the church and my resentment for bad things that happened in my life, but was never like it was never like a big thing in my life. It was never as important as I feel it in my heart now. Like, if I miss church one Sunday, my whole week is wrecked. Like, it's just that my week isn't gonna turn out the same.
So being an atheist, how was it coming to church? Like, how many times, like, did you say no, or like, what led you to actually want to come back?
It started with really like I go on these little YouTube or TikTok rabbit holes and see a lot of ugly parts of humanity. But I think the thing that inspires me the most and I love seeing is the beautiful parts of humanity. It might sound corny, but like I see like little simple things, like how dope humans really can be. Like you see something where you see like a person helping like a dog, or a person doing something that they don't got to do for somebody else. That type of stuff moves me. I seen this simple video. It was somebody, they were celebrating in, I think it was Chicago. They were celebrating in a city like that. They just won the World Series. Somebody at the very top dropped their hat all the way to the very bottom. They grabbed the hat and they threw it. People like, oh, they were grabbing it, and every time someone would catch it, be like, ah, and then they threw it up, try to get it back to the person. That, to me, shows how dope humanity is. You know, there's a lot of ugly things, and the internet tends to highlight all the ugly things, but it's like the dope parts of humanity that gives me hope. And that's what really, like, that was like the first spark where I took myself out of the atheist bracket, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm agnostic because I believe in something's here, you know, like some lit is here. This isn't no normal, like, this isn't, or things that just happen, like, there's these weird, beautiful coincidences that happen. Because I try to break everything down to like logic and numbers and science, you know, and to me, there's just these things that are unexplainable that you can't put in numbers, you can't put, you know what I mean? But there's also numbers and things that are just like unexplainable. That's like, how's that even a thing, you know? So there's a lot of beautiful coincidences that to me are like, this is not a coincidence. This is some higher power and divine thing that's happening here, you know? So then boom, it started with that. I think it was really like the internet, seeing dope things around the world, seeing dope things happen and beautiful things and situations. I was like, okay, there's hope. It's not as dark as there's nothing. It's something. And then God worked getting me back into the gym, getting me back in shape, getting me back working on myself, loving myself, self-love, self-appreciation, just being more self-aware, a lot of things like that. And then again, my cousin, God working, using my cousin, working through him to reach out to me and bring me to a better place, you know. And then coming Palm Sunday and being in this church for the first time for real was like mind blowing. You know, my stepdad, he's from, you know, pretty much from the South, and he came out and he was just like blown away by how he was blown away at how cool and chill and normal this church really is. Like the people in it are very human, and it's just dope. Like, you know, it's lit. I don't know if I should be using slang or whatever, but it's lit. I like this church. It was really cool. Felt like family right away, felt home, it was great. Yeah.
So then sorry, I'm distracted. Just cut that out. What advice would you give Eric from like a year ago or 2 years ago? What advice would you give Eric that was in that dark space? Eric that was looking at himself in that mirror that day and telling himself no one was going to save him.
God's not finished. And I take that's from one of my favorite Kanye songs. And that's one of the realest things ever, because he's not finished. You might be in your darkest, deepest, grimiest moment in your life, but he's not done working, ever. You know,
He's hard, just like your dad, your parents go hard. They're going to work, putting in time, all that. He's not finished. He's not finished. He's not done. He's working overtime, making sure you're good, making sure we're good, and just trusting God. And Jesus, they got you. Jesus got your back like a weight belt, and he, just gotta have faith. It just takes a little bit of faith. Small as a mustard seed.
So what led you to get baptized?
I'm about to be 40 on, from when we're filming this, Saturday the 29th of July. So I'm about to be 40, so I'm like, grow up, I'm here, like, what's the, I'm here. I'm coming every week. I feel it in my heart. Last week was, the week before I got baptized was a really powerful sermon. They came and prayed over me. I just felt it rush in my body. I fell to the ground, and I just felt it in my heart. It's time. It's God's telling me, hey, it's time. It's time. So this whole thing's been kind of just like, it's like Elijah. I'm just walking by faith, This whole journey has been that. I've been just following the feelings in my heart. I got a feeling in my heart. Boom, he tells me, hey, go do ministry. I'm gonna go. If he tells me, boom, go do this, go do that. Like, just following the feeling.
How did you feel getting baptized? Like during that moment, what were your feelings?
Overjoyed. My heart felt full. I felt, it sounds weird to say, but I felt kind of high. I was on a high, even till the next morning. I was like, had this Jesus hangover. It was like the next day, I just felt like I was walking around. It's like I was walking around with some impenetrable armor. I felt like puffing my chest out a little harder in the gym and going extra harder with the weights. I still went home after I got back. I still went home and I worked out that night. Like, I just felt different. I felt different at the gym. I just feel different. I'm the same dude, and I'm nowhere near perfect, but I just felt different. Just mobbing.
Okay, and how has it affected, or coming to church, how has it affected like your relationships and the people around you?
Well, definitely helps me have more patience, be more forgiving, less judgmental. I lead with love, more, instead of being so reactive, I try to listen, and, I want to analyze all the information before getting emotionally, worked up, because I am an emotional person. I'm like, if something upsets me, I vocalize it. But not everything needs a reaction. And I think the number one thing I've really learned and have really got from the days I've been coming to church has definitely been the whole patience part, the whole lead with love. You ain't got to be so fired up and allow things that, get you out your body like that. But yeah, I think that's what helped me a lot in interacting with people who might drive my patience to the to the limit, but it's good. Working on it daily,
Right?
Thank you. The Encounter Church, thank you so much. God bless y'all, man. Thank you so much.